This episode is sponsored by SKS Luxury Appliances. If you've spent time around Signature Kitchen Suite, one thing designers notice right away is the technology. The interface feels familiar and intuitive because it's the same engineering that comes from LG, the company that produces the systems used in many of the luxury vehicles people drive today. Clients recognize it instantly and know how to navigate it, but SKS is also investing in designers through their Designer Rewards program and by sponsoring IDC. If you're specifying kitchens for serious cooks, give SKS a look. Learn more at sksappliances.com. SKS, built for people who truly love cooking. Hi, this is Laurie from Interior Design Community to the Trade, and I have Niall here. Hi, Niall.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Very good. Today is kind of a special day. We've been waiting a very long time my daughter is a maid of honor, Isabel.
Nice.
And
Nice.
she is planning the bachelorette party. And there's been drama because the girls that she's planning it with, one of them didn't really love her idea and was kind of like fighting it a bit. But it is this weekend. Let me tell you about it because it's really kind of crazy. They are going to Boston. Now, the girl that is the bride, her name is Ashley. My daughter, they've been best friends since they were really young, very young girls. And they're both kind of nerdy, right? So you met Bella. She's very nerdy.
Yeah.
You know?
I wouldn't say no. I think she's kind of cool, but okay.
She's
Go
cool,
ahead.
but she's
super smart.
Smarty pants.
Yeah. Super
Straight
smart.
A,
Yeah.
I don't want to get a beer. I'm going to cry, She's that girl. And she wants to do a pub crawl on the Freedom Trail, and they're going to dress up as Revolutionary War soldiers.
Wow. Wow.
That's awesome.
Constitutional questions at the bar and give drinks to people who know the right answers. I think it's the coolest idea ever. It's, it's not like,
It's not your average
It's not your average
party. No, it's not your Vegas.
No,
you know what I mean? Yeah.
But they're so excited, and it's going to be this weekend. So she's been steaming the Revolutionary War costumes. They got actually a white one, and it's just they've got the tricorn hats.
And it's cool. It sounds like she knows her friend and what her friend would like, and that's what's most important. I think
it does.
Yeah.
It's going to be I think it's going to be a fun time for them, and it's such a weird moment to see Ashley get married. It's like the coolest thing. But we'll get into introducing our guest, Eric Dillman. I am so excited you're here because, we met, is it like 3 years ago now?
Maybe. Yeah.
I feel like it is.
You're so fast.
It did. All right. I mean, I was told that you were a hot shot. That's what somebody told me when they met me. They were like, you need to talk to this Eric guy. He's a hot shot. I was like, well, okay, let's talk to Eric.
That's funny.
But introduce yourself a little bit. Tell us, our audience, a little bit about you and who you are, because I just have so much to talk to you about. I'm so excited that you're here.
Well, thank you both for having me. I'm excited to be on this. I've been a fan for a while for the community and the podcast, so I'm excited to be on a guest. But yeah, I'm Eric Dillman. I'm mainly from Pittsburgh. I went to school for interior design and worked in interior design for a while, and then went into sales and marketing. But I do a lot of digital marketing on my own on my page, on which we could get into like how I started it. But I also have a podcast as well that is very design driven, and do multiple things during the week with my podcast and my social media branding, helping designers with their marketing, because being a solo entrepreneur is hard. And
oh my gosh, is it ever?
Balancing that all. So I love helping people, some of the gifts that I feel like I have been blessed with.
And you are good at it. I mean, you are digging in, you're asking good questions. I was just saying before we started hitting record that I don't think I've seen someone come into the industry in a long time that really got such a breadth of knowledge that you did. You dug in to figure out how brands operate, how designers operate, how builders operate, architects operate. You're talking to a lot of different people about a lot of different things. And I think that's been really amazing to watch you sort of grow in the time that I've even known you. So it's lovely to see. I'm thinking of making you blush.
Thank you. It's always weird hearing stuff about you when you're always the host. So it's
Right?
like the worlds are reversed. But thank you. I mean, I feel like a lot of our industry has gotten away from that. Like companies don't have that person that's also in the industry that knows what the end customer wants, but also how to sell the product. I feel like they're always just worried about the ROI. And I've always just wanted to be able to learn about the end user and the business and how we could intertwine it. And that's why I've always just dove into my career.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think that it's a really tricky industry to understand because so many things can go wrong in a project. I was actually talking to a designer today, and we were talking about just the challenges of marketing yourself as a designer and
Right.
how it just changes all the
Oh my
time.
God. I was
And
just saying that.
you
Yeah.
know, it feels overwhelming to so
Can't
many. It
catch
feels
up.
like another job on top of the job that already is hard,
Well,
you
yeah.
know?
Really
Yeah.
is.
I haven't made it yet, but I have a script to do a little video today. And it was because I saw this real estate person and she was talking about how I think it was a little viral type video, but it was basically like saying that somebody told her, "Wow, what a great business you have. You're so successful." You know, it looked like it happened so fast and it does from the outside, right? But she's like showed 6 or 7 videos and the video like clips of them and she's like, "This is the day my dad died and this is the day that I had a miscarriage and this is the day that, this happened or that happened." And it's like as it really made me think about designers too because I'm like, the projects that they get involved in and how long they are, and there's contractual obligation. And that doesn't matter if your dad needs to go into assisted living or, your kids have broken arm today or, something is going on. And every one of us, every single person who works in the design field, and I know that this is like every human too, experiences real things, real tragedies, real problems while they are trying to navigate business. But for as a small business owner, it's 20 times harder because you just don't have a support system to cover you in the same way. You've still got to show up. You've still got to do the work. You've still got to market. You've still got to care about these other things that sometimes you just are like, does it really freaking matter? I mean, I know I've had those moments where I remember my mom going through chemo and like, I just had someone who was fighting in one of the communities and they were coming to me with the problem and can you fix this problem because this person is mad at this person and you need to fix it and da, 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 da. And I was just like, grow up and deal with your own problems. My mom's dying of cancer,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and those kinds of things are hard, but the truth is that if the consistency wins, right? So you have to keep going. You have to keep doing the work no matter what, even if the things that are going on in your own personal life are tough.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. That's why I always advocate like bulk scheduling out.
Yeah.
Podcast wise, I'm bulk recording months ahead of time because if something like that comes up, and because consistency is so important, especially on digital marketing standpoint, I always say to designers, put a whole album on your phone of photos that you haven't put it in your favorites. As soon as you post it, unfavorite it. So you have a running list of stuff you have in your back burner to post when you have a situation like that come up.
Right. You can just kind of keep consistent when your life is like, not super perfect. You can just keep on, hitting the repeat button. Because guess what? People don't know, right? They don't know that they've seen that video. I have reposted the same video 12 times over the years and people don't know that it's the same video that they've already seen, or if they do, they're like, oh yeah, that was funny, that was a good one. That's okay to redo that one or repost something that you've already posted. It keeps things on autopilot if you are in those stressful situations. So what are the scheduling tools you like to use?
So I've used like HubSpot and all of those for social media. But for myself, I've been just using the notes in my computer and my phone, the Apple Notes.
Really? Yeah.
Because social media, as everybody knows, it changes daily. And it's so hard. And they're penalizing especially Meta, if you don't post within a Meta app, you get penalized there. So I want to post on time. I just schedule calendar invites on my phone saying, hey, post at this time, because you want to post live within the Meta atmosphere, Facebook, Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
So nowadays, I don't really use a scheduling tool. They're there, but I'm more out there trying to get to more designers than get more customers. So more engagement than actually getting more customers. So my reach might be different than most designers.
Yeah. And I know that's an interesting perspective too. I use an app called Metricool that I've been using now for probably about a year, but it's because I have so many platforms. I favor Instagram myself. I love Instagram. It's my favorite one. So I am on there mostly myself, but I want to be everywhere. So we've been paying attention to YouTube Shorts and from an SEO standpoint, or the AEO, GEO standpoint, because I really do believe YouTube is a good feeder of AI. And so we've been playing around with how we can. I'm trying to crack a code right now, Eric. I'll tell you what it is. It's really actually kind of frustrating to me. I don't know if maybe you have some ideas, but we have been experimenting with doing the blog with AI assisting it. It's not it can't do all of it, but can pull what the question of the day is every day, the best quotes, and give me a format to write the blog the way that I want to write the blog. I'm pretty picky about images, so I'm it can't be automated and generated, but there are things that can be. So once the image is in there, it can change the image to the format Pinterest likes it, with the title on top of it, so that it can send that to Pinterest, which I enjoy. Want that to happen. It's just all the different social networks we do. If I'm looking at Metricool now, we've got Facebook page, Instagram, Blue Sky, Threads, YouTube Shorts, YouTube regular, LinkedIn, TikTok, Instagram.
Exhausting.
It's exhausting.
It's so hard.
And it is. I mean, I don't know how, of course, as a designer, anyone who's thinking about even taking this on, it's just how do you do it? How do you prioritize what is good for the designer? What are you telling designers right now are the priorities that you think are really important?
I think so. It depends on what they're doing, but for the most part, I always say Instagram is the main one.
Yeah.
I think LinkedIn, if you're a professional, you need to be on there.
Yeah.
But when it comes to
are you trying to be a thought leader on LinkedIn? Are you trying, if you're an interior designer, what are you trying to do with LinkedIn? Are you trying to connect with clients? Are you trying to connect with brands? What do you think there?
Yeah, I think it's brands and manufacturers mostly, because you're not going to get much on LinkedIn for customer wise. And even when I post, it's very professional. I post some fun stuff on Instagram, but when it comes to LinkedIn, I change up the messaging or just don't post it at all on LinkedIn and just keep it on Instagram and Facebook. But I feel like the main one is Instagram for our industry, because we are so visual. Everything we do is so visual. So it's the one that makes the most sense. But again, Shorts is, like you said, is just a slow creeper up for that. And then even posting on YouTube, I've gotten some traction on.
I mean, it really, I've got some viral things go viral on YouTube now, and I don't post it at all.
Yeah.
We just automate it so that some of the content goes there directly. But I've been playing around with trying to take the blog post, because from an SEO standpoint or AEO standpoint, what they're trying to find is questions and answers. So questions and answers are what our jam. That's our jam. And it should be the designer's jam too, because that's what you have. You have people who ask you questions, and you are delivering an answer to that in the form of a visual concept. Yeah. So, there are a million questions and a million answers. What white paint should I use? What blue paint should I use? What color? How big should my sofa be? Where should I hang my drapes? What rug size should I have? What about coffee tables? Should they be rectangular, circular, depending on the size of the living room? How big is that room? What about a kitchen? How many islands do you have? How many tables? A banquette or not a banquette? Whatever those questions are, there's a million. And from a design perspective, we have like, all the business questions that come in every single day. So that's perfect content. That's like the juiciest content to feed the AI models. And so I want ideally a blog article that can be summarized with the quotes, because I think the quotes are the best ever. We get the best quotes with the quotes from the designers that are giving answers, and then turn that into a 3-minute. It has to be actually 2 minutes and 23 seconds, 2 minutes and 20 something. It's like 180 seconds is your max for YouTube Shorts. So I want it to be right around that. And I want it to say all the things that it needs to say. And so I've been experimenting with like how to make those kinds of things with AI, because I certainly can't make a 2-minute and 25-second video that is a summary of my blog post 5 days a week. But I would love AI to do that.
Oh, I know.
I would love AI to do that to me.
Yeah.
This is the stuff I'm trying to crack all the time.
Yeah. That brought up during, maybe it was like 2019, Google was testing out a software called Canvas. I don't know if you ever.
Yes.
I was in the beta group for interior designers. So they would send me those questions and I would answer them and they would come up on Google search before all the links. And I'm like, that's such a genius idea. And then they just completely scratched it.
They did that all the time. I mean, I don't know if you know, but originally Interior Design Community started on Google.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was like we were on Google Plus, which was like the coolest, actually. We were doing things that you couldn't do today, even.
Yeah.
Like we started years ago streaming before anybody was streaming, because they had a thing called Hangouts in the Google Plus app. And it was like its own little webinar. I really honestly, that format was amazing because it created a chat room for the streaming what a podcast would be today. And then people could chit chat in that webinar, and then it automatically took it and put it into YouTube. So it became a video, and it was just, it was easy.
Yeah.
It worked really well. The format worked really well. Thought it was pretty high quality. We had style spotters. When the original style spotters for High Point, we would bring all the style spotters and put them on. And I had a different co-host back then. That wasn't my co-host. James Bedell was my co-host, which weirdly, he just messaged me yesterday and wanted to chit chat with me. He was the lighting designer. And it was just interesting how the world is evolved. And there is no wrong answer, right? So the thing is, you're doing content, and wherever you can feel like you are getting some sort of traction, that is where you should be focusing your time. And I think for designers, the answer to me, it's like everything I think I'm trying to do, I have to downgrade it, because I know this is my full-time job. Designers are like, their full-time job is design. So how can I take what I'm doing, like, boil it down to the essence of it, just get that like reduction sauce of things that they should be doing, the highest concentration of value, and then say that's what they should be doing in a day-to-day. And so I do agree with you, Instagram. I think that taking those video content, concentrating on video content as much as possible, getting that into all of the known video content platforms, YouTube. If you can, there's a thing called repurpose.io that a lot of people use, and it takes however you like to do content. Like if you're a TikToker, or if you're an Instagrammer, or if you're a YouTuber, you can do it there. And then it can automatically post on the other platforms automatically. It takes your feed that you have now and then just goes other places with it, which is, I think designers don't have time to put it in 30 different places.
Not at all.
Let something else hook you up and just automate all that posting for you. So I find your one place you like to be, and then automate it as much as possible, as much as you can. Even if it doesn't favor the algorithm perfectly, it's better to do it than not have it at all. And you'll find I have stuff that's fully automated, and I'm building audiences over there, even though I'm not there. So, I mean, obviously your best case scenario is like you're writing a comment after each comment and you're really active and responsive, but
life comes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like there's so many, it's like a layered book for designers because you have to schedule your posts. So that's one thing. And then also the big issue is, what do I post?
Exactly.
And
Oh,
like,
I have a bazillion. I don't think that
But
I know
that's the
designers
hardest, I
worried.
think.
I
That
just,
is the hardest because you can't, I don't think there's one playbook for everybody.
yeah.
see, I think once you meet with someone to talk about what content is and kind of like
Yeah.
nailing it down, we live in a content gold mine of an industry.
We do.
You just have to
Well, this is
learn,
actually
like,
an interesting topic. Like, people actually care about their homes. Like, you could be selling, I don't know, ducting.
yeah,
That's a different thing, I mean, you don't want to, at least what designers are selling is fun and cool, and consumers actually care about
Yeah.
it because it's their house,
it's just rewiring your brain, thinking
Yeah.
content and not. It's like how podcasters say they think in pitch or think in segments.
Yeah.
We're just thinking in content, and that's usually what I'm there to help the designers kind of like nail down, like go through a whole job and figure out what you could start putting into your photo album, what you need content for, what brands are, because it's so, when you start a kitchen job or
Yeah.
any type of job, all the brands that you're using, it could go over to the hundreds of manufacturers that you're using, and you forget, and you're missing so much there because you need to tag them to get the exposure, to get the relationship driven there. And if you don't know that stuff, it's easy to just kind of put it, just don't post it, or just don't
Exactly.
know what to post.
I mean,
Right.
it's hard. I think it's hard for us because we are of the mind that what we share is the end result. Like, that's, as designers, that's what we share, right? We share the end result, and everything else is innate, right? It's not that we don't want to share it. It's just, it's what we do. And so we don't know, like, you want to know how I go and look for fabrics. You want to know my process for space planning this, or you want to know why I went with an inset versus a full overlay cabinet. I didn't know that was something that you would want to know. I'm of the mind that all you want to know is the reveal. So I think, your role is crucial because you help extract from us the things that we don't know. We don't know what to share. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I always say to designers, what do you not like about home renovation shows? And they usually are like that it's start and then finish. There's like barely any of that, like the meat that's in the middle.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's for entertainment for, the homeowners. And they're like, well, homeowners like that. I'm like, well, homeowners don't like that when it's their house and they're giving you thousands and thousands of dollars. They want to know the process. They want to know who's in their house doing this work.
That is so true. That is so true. You're right. They love to watch it, but they hate it if you're doing it for them personally.
Yeah. They want to know how you work. They want to know what the whole process is. And if you put that on social media, you're vetting out. That's also a good way to vet out customers as well, because not every customer is meant for you. And it's better to know that right away than, halfway through a job.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, because if you're really putting out like what your personality is like, and what budgets you expect, and what you think that, if you're putting this out there, like it's just out there, then there are some people that are going to be turned off by it, but they're not your customer anyway. They're not your client anyway, so, but there are, for just as many people as are turned off by it, there are people who are like, wow, that's exactly what I'm looking for. I want someone that is that. I think people forget that, like, no trust factor is still, it's never going away. No. And it's not, and I don't know, it's a frustration thing for me because, like, look at Niall. He is an amazing designer. And he's a good person. I can't imagine anybody not wanting to work with Niall. He is just fantastic to his bones, like good, honest human being, very creative, cares about the work like you would not believe, but do they know, do you think that there are people who know you, Niall, that are out there looking at you and knowing he brings like soul to his work, and he really is, he loves music, and it's attached to his work. He's a family man. He's got four kids at home. You know what I mean? Like, he's just all of those things attract that person. If you're telling those stories, like, I have 4 kids, and let me tell you, because he's a foster dad too, so that eventually adopted the foster children. Like, those are fundamental parts of who Niall is, like a giving, caring human being who is good to his bones, but he's also like trying to make good humans. That's very important to him.
Yeah.
And there are people who love that. would love to know that about Niall, and would feel like, oh my gosh, that maybe they were a foster kid when they were younger, or maybe that's their favorite charity, or maybe, they really love the music scene and they would love a designer who understands that they love hip hop or they love jazz or whatever that is. They want a designer to really get that about them and put that into the work. And that's what we all respond to, is someone who we like, know, trust, and your way to do that is through video. I want you sometimes to come do Design Edge with us, because we have been doing this trade show, and it's different than everything else that we do. So, I mean, I definitely go to High Point and I do all the big shows, but it's got this boiled down thing. And then I run the conference for Lee. And one of our topics actually that we started doing for the day 2 was how to create viral video. And we talked about the idea of that HGTV thing. And it's like, I feel like this industry, for as long as I've been in it, has been waiting for someone to save them, to they want HGTV to come out and say, like, this is how you really do design. This is what a designer really does. Or they want a commercial that's like a commercial that explains they want the associations to have these commercials that you're mistaken. This is what design really is. And we also don't want to be ripped off. Like, there's people stealing our ideas and people, posting our images and then not crediting us. And, those are really hot topics with designers for as long as I've been in this industry. But those are also things that, like, video content, you are the only one who knows what you did on your project. You're the only person that can look at that photo and know why you did what you did. Yeah. Like, no influencer can do that because they weren't there. You were there, not them. So, like, look, we chose this dishwasher because I looked at 5 different options for them through my designer lens. And this was the right option because of the sizing and where it would fit. And my client likes it, like, they have a baby and they want to make sure that the sound is really, really, really quiet. That was the most important feature to them. So that's why we went with what we went with. That, I mean, that's what, Niall, I bet every project you could look at any photo that you've had of any of your projects, and it's just like an actor who is looking at a movie and remembering the day that they filmed that scene, not necessarily like what's on the screen. You get it. You see that. So it's like all of that is a story. All of that is the good stuff.
It's just one of those things, I think, for me. I mean, I can only speak personally, that where I think, well, do you really want to know that? Like, I mean, I have like 180,000, I'm not even kidding, 180,000 plus like photos and videos in my camera roll. And it's like all stuff that I think is like, oh, this is kind of cool, or this is funny, or that was interesting, or that's, but I'm like, and then when I go to post, I'm like, but do you really want to know that? Is somebody really interested in this? Like, it's just, so then I get in my head and then I don't post. You know what I mean?
I think that's where AI can really save people, is that there is a format to it. So creating good content, you're going to get better with it over time. You don't need to script forever. But in the very beginning stages, scripting out and using AI to create scripts is a good idea. I will tell you a thing that I do, which is very silly, is I will take a topic and I will say, this is what I just like AI, and I'll say, this is what I want to do. I want a 1-minute script. It has to have a hook. It has to have like storytelling, tension point, whatever. I like a snappy, funny conclusion. And it needs to be under like about a minute. And then it'll shoot out a script. And then I immediately say, give me a cast of characters that are going to be critics, like 5 different people, a person who is going to oppose every assumption that I am trying to ascertain about this video, and somebody who is going to do, like a critic, a person who really is only in it for the content and wants the joke and not the information. Like, I have 5 different types of characters, and I want to run it through all of those filters. So would every person have likes and dislikes about that video, correct everything they don't like about it, and then remake the script again, and it will shoot out a better script almost every single time. Like, when you ask it to challenge the script.
That's a good idea.
That's a really good idea.
And then I use edits almost all the time. Edits is free, and Instagram favors it, as you said, right? And It has a teleprompter option. So you
Life
throw the
changer.
script into teleprompter. You can use, it also has green screen. So you can put an image behind you if you're talking about something specifically. And you can move yourself around. You can like minimize yourself if you're doing green screen and move yourself around per clip. But record just like paragraph by paragraph by paragraph. If you flub it up, you delete that little clip and you redo that paragraph. And then when you go into editing, you're just trimming the beginning and the end, where you're just like that second where you're like, and then talking, you need that like little clip so that you don't, when you're looking down or looking up, when you're trying to delete it. So you trim all of those together and then watch it once and you're ready to go. It's not, and there's just, if you message me, I have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of ideas that I think designers could talk about. It's product, it's before and afters, it's what did I really do here? It's, what questions that clients ask me the most. I mean, we had at the very end, we do steal these topic ideas. We've got, what do I actually do? What does an interior designer actually do from start to finish? That's a script.
That's a fun one to answer.
What you're really paying for and when you hire me. What happens between concept and install day? Why don't you see most of the work I do? Because they don't see most of the work that you do. Inside my design process, step by step, what makes a designer worth their fee? What I do that Pinterest can't do for you, things like that. So you can use moments in the day. You can use anything we do client education, real client stories, testimonial breakdowns, product expertise, what to buy instead, which is always fun. Like, you want to buy a restoration hardware sofa. Let me tell you about 3 brands that are better. You're not going to pay for marketing. You're going to pay for quality. I'm going to tell you my 3 favorites. Like insider scoops. Like, who doesn't want that? I want that. Facebook finds. Like, I found 3 things on Facebook in, or what city, whatever city you want to pick. Like, you could literally go Facebook Marketplace around and find 3 cool finds from any city in the United States that are overlooked. Like, here are 3 brands that probably are overlooked on Facebook Marketplace and people are getting a real bargain. Like, what if you could buy a Baker sofa on Facebook Marketplace and people don't even, and it's so cheap and people don't know that it's how good it is, and you could get it reupholstered. Just little fun videos that are interesting to, that show what designers think about. They have this ongoing like filter in their brain that is like about like why they would or not buy something. Like, it's just like to check a million boxes when they are looking at something. It's like, is it going to be here on time? How much is it? Does it fit in the client budget? Is the tone correct? Is the fabric good? Is it going to last? Is it going to get here in time? Is the brand reliable? Does it fit with the rest of the project? Like, there's a million, is it ethically sourced? It goes down and down and down into nuances. But I just think that designers have this thing, this computer that's operating in their brains all the time. And to them, it's obvious, like that's the right choice. And so that's why when the client doesn't want it, they're so frustrated because it's already run through hundreds of yeses or no answers to get to this solution. And when the client's like, oh, I don't know, I don't really like that, they're like, I'm gonna kill you. I found the perfect thing. I found the exact perfect thing and it's in your budget. That is exactly what this project needs. And you don't want it. Okay, I guess I'll try to find something else.
Yep.
But I think that that's the stuff, like if a client knew that's what was secretly happening behind the scenes, then they wouldn't question it as much. And if you could set up situations where the clients that are coming to you don't question you as much if they knew that's all part of your process. Like, that's part of why you do what you do. And the more you're putting out these videos that tell people, like, this is what I do. This is the steps that I take when I am doing anything. I am hypercritical about these steps when I'm looking at any one thing that I am, suggesting to you. Then you're setting up a relationship where they can be honest with you, but they'll have a reason. They'll be like, I know you've been through lots of steps. Here, let me tell you why I don't like that. It is, blah, 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 and it'll be a better conversation because they will understand the work that designers have actually done to get there. A lot of people think it's shopping, I think,
They
still
do.
to this day.
Frustrates me.
Yeah. Yeah. Was that a surprise to you when you came into this industry?
How many people thought that?
Yeah.
Yes. And it gets on your nerves the first couple of years, and then it kind of, you're just kind of like, just ignore it.
Yeah.
The best way I always described, I never got into the furnishing side of the business. I was all construction side of the business. So I
Right.
always said, I had a guest on my podcast years ago, forget his name, but he said, basically take the house, turn it upside down and shake it. Everything that falls out is nothing to do with me. I
Right.
just do everything that stays. So cabinets, flooring, finish of the walls, all that stuff is the stuff I love. So that's how I described it. But yeah, I think there are some schools changing the name of interior design to interior architecture, but there's also some issues with that as well. I think it is a better name for it because it's a lot of what we're doing, and then interior design be more the furnishing side, but it's a hard thing to debate because it's a kind of all over the place.
Right.
Yeah.
And well, I think the other factor is that there is no real regulation.
No.
And I don't know that we want it or if we don't want it. I definitely don't want to gatekeep really amazing people out of the industry. That I 100% know. Like
Mhm.
real artists that should be doing it should be in our world, because there are some really amazingly talented people that came in here from second career work.
Mhm.
But I think that it's really going to be, it's a long battle.
It really
And
is.
there are designers who do all of it. So like Niall is multidisciplined. He does
Okay.
your hardscaping, he does your furnishing, he does your architecture elements, but he also does, he's full service design, which I think there are a lot of that breed.
Mhm.
Then you have like the kitchen and bath specialists. Then you have like the people who just love to decorate. You have people who want to do e-design. There's so many different buckets that
Yeah.
the world has, and I think it's really tricky to regulate that in any
Yeah.
way that's meaningful. And everyone that's tried, and believe me, there have been billions poured into trying to regulate this and own the terms, and it hasn't gotten very far in
Yeah.
the years that it's been pushed.
Yeah, I think it's so hard because I've had people on my podcast that spent 20 years in their career, like in IT, and then they're like,
Yeah.
well, I finally actually want to do what I want to do. Like they're getting their second
Yeah.
chance on life.
And can you stop somebody that is, how many of us, and believe me, there are designers that are listening to this podcast saying, yes, you should. Yes, you should. Because I went to school and they did not. And that is not fair. And you wouldn't do that to a doctor. You can't just decide you want to be a doctor, second, career. But I'm sorry, you can do it in design. It is actually legal
it's
and
not the
it's
same
fine.
thing.
Yeah.
And just like people who learn to be chefs or learn to be, a craft, or learn, to be florists, or learn, to be wedding coordinators, or whatever that might be, the service industry, is it just a different animal? And this is a service industry job.
Mhm.
And so I've actually seen major success from some of these second career people.
Exactly. Yes.
They are really
Agreed.
doing great. And it's because they're bringing a different mindset
Yep.
to
Mhm.
the industry. Maybe they
Yep.
have a business background. Maybe
Yep.
they have a finance background.
Huge.
They understand something else that the designers have had to learn from scratch.
Yep.
So that's, really important. I think it's amazing you've dug in to the point where you are really helping people get that, that next step to share, because you're right. I really believe this is like the good stuff. Like there's so much gold in design. And honestly, we could be teaching the mass public what design really is, which I think
Mhm.
would be better for our industry, so that people would hire designers more and that they would understand what the concept is, what the designer is bringing to the table. I think they'd buy better furniture. I think people would buy better furniture if they knew what to do, what to look for. I don't think they know what to look for. I don't think they know what's good and what isn't good until it's too late. They've got it in the house. They've already bought it. Now they're stuck with it, trying to decide if they want to keep it or if they want to throw it away, So I think that people would make better choices. I would love a scenario. This is a big goal, Eric. There's 100,000 designers in the United States. If we could get 10% to utilize video, could it change our industry? What do you think?
I think I 100% agree. It's getting them over the hurdle of putting them in front of the camera.
Yeah.
And that is
I mean, there isn't fear there though. Like you're by yourself.
yeah,
It's still terrifying. I mean, it's
yeah.
still very terrifying. I mean, I think I'm a little bit more at ease. I had a one-on-one call with like the Meta people about, like using the Meta glasses, and they were super helpful. And like I said, I'm not super comfortable in front of the camera, and they was like, well, here are some ideas that you could use your glasses for that still will communicate sort of, from an educational standpoint, sort of what you do, but you don't necessarily have to be in front of the camera. You can be the camera. So, but I think that only works to a point. Like, I think it's great, but I think that's still a certain section of information. I think you do have to, at some point, step in front of the camera and, deliver. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
just uncomfortable. It's
Well,
very uncomfortable for me. It's
I think you
extremely
start with a
uncomfortable.
script. I think that's where, and I can see designers trying to come up with something on the fly is really hard. It's hard for
Yeah.
me too. It's like, and then I go off on a tangent.
Yeah.
You can
Yeah.
remember something else and
Yeah.
talk
Yeah.
about something else. And how do you keep it to a tight minute that makes sense? And your way through is really scripting, is come up with a minute script, record bit by bit, like paragraph by paragraph. So if you don't like a paragraph, you delete it. If you mumbled the words, you delete it. If you think the lighting is bad, you re-record it. It's not, but you're playing with it to get that rhythm right. And once you get the rhythm right and you do enough of that to try to get the rhythm right, I mean, even challenging yourself to do, one a week and until you like it, for, that kind of thing. But I've seen designers explode with video. Like I'm watching a number of them right now that are
I can
starting
believe
to
that.
take video on, and it's like their numbers are growing. They've got lots of new followers. They're getting brand deals. They're getting clients. And, one of my designers who did video on came to Meredith Huck. You remember we interviewed Meredith
Yeah.
from House of Huck. She said, she had a designer who was like, didn't you feel like that's cringy to put that out there? And she goes, yeah, I guess I did until I got my first $100,000 project from it. And then I stopped being
Ooh.
cringy. Stopped being cringy real
Ooh.
fast.
Exactly.
I like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So that's what I think about it is that, if I didn't know that designers, I came from this industry outside of this industry. So I had no idea what designers did. I didn't know how much they work. I didn't know how much they care about the project. I mean, my perception of design, if you had asked me before I came into this industry and I know what I know now, I would have said, I think designers are probably really like snobby people who like tell you that what you want to buy is really horrible taste. You know what I mean? That's what I would think. And it would scare me, I would think, to work with a designer because I would be feeling like they would be judging me about what I like or how I live or what I want for my own house. Like I just I'd be so afraid and intimidated to hire a designer.
You're right.
Because
you should see how we live.
I know, right?
So true.
Now I've been to 100 designers' houses and I don't feel as intimidated.
It's like we want you to live the best way possible because we're vicariously living through you. You know what I mean? So,
right.
Yeah.
You have the budgets that they really want.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So those are the things that I would. What did you think about it before you? I mean, it is crazy to me that you went into interior design. I just didn't. I see you as a marketer.
Yeah.
That I get, but I'm surprised you went into interior design. What did you feel from that?
I mean, I wanted to go into architecture and realize interior design was what I actually liked about architecture.
Right.
But it was very different. Like my first year was very hard because there were some of those snobbier people, and there's always a bad egg in every group. And they're the ones that stand out in your brain. So that first year was hard, but I've learned that the community in general has been amazing and just they embrace you. But kind of what I wanted to add to being on camera is I wasn't on camera for the first 2 years of my profile. I didn't post a single picture. I didn't put a video of myself on my profile. My profile picture wasn't even me.
Right.
It was my logo. And now I cringe at that because my name was on the profile, but because I'm so introvert, I'm naturally an introvert and that's so not me. And I always tell that to designers, I'm like, you just have to get over that. And it's hard to just say that. And like, takes work to actually do it. But once you start going, just get a mic off of Amazon and just start talking.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, geez.
I know.
I mean,
He
and
really
believe it or
hates
not, I have all that stuff. Literally, I
He
ordered a
does.
mic. I have a little mic. I have
Yeah.
a tripod. I have all the things, and I just am like, I look at all of it, and I'm like,
Yeah.
So, Niall, if I gave you, I'm just going to ask you, like, if I gave you a script once a week, would you do that?
probably,
You would?
yeah, because I think part of the,
I think, Eric, you and I should
part
do
of the
this
problem
as a
is like I
marketing
have
exercise. And I'm just came up
tons
with
of
this,
stuff
so
in
I
notes
don't want to
that I
get Eric
just
on this, but I mean, what do you think about a challenge where we're trying to get 10,000 interior designers doing video? And we come up with some scripts that we could have them use. I already have like more than 100 ideas. We create the scripts and we create like a sign up, and we just start delivering the scripts that they can do with like, because I think if they even did the same script, like if I had a Niall doing the same script that I had a designer in California doing, it's like their people aren't going to know that it's the same script. Who cares that it's the same script?
It's still
they're
going
going to
to be.
deliver it differently. I'm
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
I, as a viewer, I'd be looking through that whole thread if we put a hashtag on that and seeing how different it is per person.
I know, it'd be fun, right?
Yeah, that'd be
I
fun.
agree. That'd be really like super fun to track it. I just think it'd be a fun challenge to get the designers out there doing it, and we could just deliver the script, deliver the scripts, deliver the scripts. I think that'd be really fun.
How do you feel when you do your scripts? When you're recording and reading them off the screen, are you reading word for word, or are you ad-libbing? It's kind of just there.
I started reading word for word, we'll say that, but more now I ad-lib a little bit. Like if I don't like it, or I'm like, that doesn't really sound like something I would say, I'll ad-lib a little bit. And, I think that the ad-libbing helps me, but, I think it's just a hard thing. I'll just tell you this one I was reading, and it started in a different way. It starts like, people love to say things like, wow, your business looks so successful. You make it look so easy. Meanwhile, some designers are answering contractor calls from a hospital parking lot. I saw a video today of another designer or another business owner showing what it was actually like actually happening behind some of her biggest moments online. So you're going to mess things up, and you're just going to have to play with, like, I would re-record and I would re-record. There's some things that my mouth won't do. You know what I mean? You're mumbling over certain things. So those things I just change, and I'll edit on the fly, and I'll be like, my mouth doesn't want to do that today. It just is not happening for me. So I will change the words a little bit to something that I find easier to say. And then I just record. This is it's like this is the script, right? So I record, it's a sentence by sentence. So I record them individually as sentences. I'm not trying to get through the whole thing at once.
Yeah.
Because that would take forever. I would be messing it up too many times and having to re-record it. And then I would give up, Niall. But that's the great thing about edits, is that it lets you do it clip by clip by clip. And you can delete just that clip you flubbed up on. And then you keep going. And you keep going and you keep going. And then you're done. Within 10 minutes, you're done, and then you go in, then it goes to the next part where you edit. And then you take each clip you did, you just trim it a little bit on both sides. Cause there's a moment when you're like clicking to start recording again, or you're stopping the recording, and you want to cut that out. And then I play it, right? And playing it also is really important, because sometimes you clipped a little too close. And you can press it, and you can, even though you've deleted it, you can still push it a little bit and trim it back out, and it's still there. So even though you've deleted it, it's still there. It's just not seen. So you can still fix it, even if you deleted a clip or you trimmed a little bit that you didn't really want. So that's how I do it. And it's not super complicated. It's not super fast. It's super time consuming. You can really actually get it done in 10 minutes. And I think people would be surprised how easy it is. And we could step by step get through some of these topics that I think people don't understand about design. What is the first thing a designer does? Like, people often think like the first thing designers are thinking about is color. Well, that's really not at all.
No. Oh my God.
No. That's really the last thing they think about is color. Color is like the last, we'll get to the color later. Like, how do you live in a home first? What is the first way you navigate your space? And what do you want to do here? Is this space functional. Everybody has grown up in houses that like one room was used the most, right? Like the living room. Everybody was in the living room or everybody was in the kitchen, And that's because for whatever reason, that was the most functional space that house had. You really know a house is well designed, I think, when people use the rooms that are in the home. I think
Yeah.
that's when you know a home is well designed. If the room doesn't get used, then something needs to change.
I agree.
Because it doesn't, that is a function of not necessarily bad design, but that design is not functional for that family. So they need to be rethinking it. Whether it be you don't really use the formal living room or the formal dining room or whatever it is you have in your house. If you don't use it except once a year during the holiday or whatever, maybe rethinking about how you use that space, because it is part of you're really like taking your square footage and going and just getting it further
It's
and
so
further
true.
down, because you're not living in the house that you pay for and you heat and you air condition. So utilizing the space. I love it. I think we should do it, Eric. I don't know. I
I
think we should
think
do it.
so. I think we just have to get them over thinking. I mean, as a designer, we think in final outcome. So like the
Yeah.
final photo, and we still take that to social media. So
Yeah.
we're our own critics on that. So once you
Yeah.
get past that, we don't live in a magazine. We live in a content world, and content doesn't have to be perfect. That's when you could start doing this stuff. Like, but
Yeah.
you have to get there. You need to work on yourself on that part.
Yeah.
Because that's the roadblock that's, I feel like, a majority of designers are under right now.
Do you think
Yeah, I agree.
one question I really think is really important on that front? Do you think that one of the things, and I've had this conversation a bit with Niall, one of the things that is holding them back is fear of other designers judging them?
I do, and I also think it's fear of their inside circle. Once you start a company and put yourself out there on social media and start speaking and all that stuff, you're very vulnerable. You're putting yourself out there. And I feel like people think their inner circle needs to accept them, accept their job, accept all that stuff. And for the most part, I would tell you like half of your inner circle is going to support your business in the way that you want them to support it. And I feel like there's so many designers that come to me and they stop doing it because they say they don't get enough likes, or they hear it from their friend about they posted this. And I'm like, the biggest supporters you'll ever have are these strangers that you meet on social media, and your inner circle does not need your acceptance because they're not paying your bills. It's all these random people on social media that have related to you in somehow. But I do think that there is that competition there. It depends on where you're from, but there is some designers out there that will judge you, and it's just like any industry.
Right.
There's always going to be that bad egg, but I think it's a mixture of those two.
Yeah. Is there any way that you just feel like it's a grabbing it and going for it, and that there's no real way that you can talk yourself out of that moment?
I think you just have to work on it. You have to post and ghost for a little bit. As much as I say you need to be on there for a half an hour after your post and like interact with your following, in the beginning, you need to get over that fear. And I think the best way to do that is post and ghost and just put your phone down and then gradually kind of work your way into it. But
I do think the rule for Instagram too is that, I mean, great for the first hour if you do, but it honestly, that helps your expansion of your post, but it doesn't necessarily, Facebook still and Instagram really like it if you're engaging with those posts for the first 48 hours. So you could come back to it tomorrow and still engage with that post, and that post will still get some traction, extra traction from you doing it 2 days later. You don't have to do it day of even to have that juice. And even if you aren't getting traction, really also, I think the other thing that is probably something I would do is trust a friend. Like go to Eric, go to me. We are nice, so we're not going to judge you, and ask them like, what do you think about this video? Do you think what do you think I should have done differently? It didn't really go, is there anything I could do? Sometimes it's because you haven't built the audience yet. It's just not there yet. It will come. But sometimes there are little tweaks like, oh, I see you could have edited this out, or you're pausing too long here, or, maybe increasing the flow a little bit, or making the hook a little stronger, or the end of it could be a little bit, faster, or maybe like just this doesn't fit you. This doesn't feel like you, something you would say, whatever that might be. But you can give good feedback to somebody who's like, let's fix this a little bit. Don't give up. That's the key, is like, don't give up. If you looked at the content that I put out there when I first started, I don't think you'd like me. I was like trying all sorts of things. It was bad. It was
Yeah.
bad graphics. It was bad everything. I didn't know what I was talking about. I was just like trying to make friends with everybody and didn't know who was good or bad. You know, I didn't understand this industry at all in the beginning. And I was just jumped in. And I think that's what I see in you, Eric, is you jumped in. And, you know, that's how you learn, is
Yeah.
jumping in. It's getting into that deep end and going for it. And, you know, there are going to be people that are like jealous of that or intimidated of that, or like, who do you think you are, or whatever that mentality is. And that's okay for them to think. But like you said, they're not paying your bills. So
Yeah.
go for it. Go for it.
Yeah. And I always kind of relate it to, I did a podcast a couple weeks ago about when you see someone starting their fitness journey and you see people making fun of them because maybe they're not in shape as you. I'm like,
Right.
they're trying. You're over
Right.
there making fun of someone that's trying. That shows more about you than them.
Right.
And it's the same exact way with social media. Someone posting, that's why I'm always trying to comment on everybody's, because if I could just be one comment on them, like that makes a huge day, especially when you're just making a social media.
Yeah. Yeah. That one comment, that one like, and then I would love for people who are listening. You know, I really think about the people that don't like or comment just as much. I mean, I know my views. So I know, like, I have a huge portion that don't like or comment,
Mhm.
but be that person who is supportive, be that person who generously likes and generously comments and generously, supports, because it's hard to do this. It's hard to
Yeah.
put yourself out there. It really is.
Really is.
And we should be supporting each other. Really,
Mhm.
really, in this industry, we should be really supporting one another so much more than we do. And we could be such a stronger industry if we really dug in and recognize, like, we'd get more business if we worked together on this, if we were more strategic and did this, the right way, really work in a collaborative, coordinated, strategic effort, kind of as a group, as a community.
Agreed.
Yeah. Well, thank
Collaboration
you
is
so
everything.
much, Eric. This was so fantastic. And we'll make sure that everybody follows you, and we send this out everywhere so that people can meet you and see what a great person you are, and hopefully learn a lot from you.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Thanks. This episode is brought to you by Curry & Company. Designers, you know the moment. You walk into the room and the lighting stops you in your tracks. Chances are it might be Curry. Curry & Company has built its reputation on pieces that feel sculptural, collected, and timeless, from hand-finished chandeliers to statement lamps, furniture, and accessories. Their collection is top-notch. If you haven't explored their newest introductions, take a look. Visit curryandcompany.com,